what made you get into shaping in the first place?
That's a very easy question because it's a fact. I was surfing for Lost surfboards and clothing. They were sponsoring me for many years. And when finally the economy in Venezuela collapsed, me, together with all the national team and all the best athletes in the country, we all lost our sponsors. So that put me in a situation that I was very afraid to not being able to keep surfing up to my level. The equipment plays such an interesting and important role in a surfer, in an athlete, that without your equipment, sometimes you could feel you're not even yourself. I was totally in love with the brand I was surfing for, Lost. The Mayhem surfboards were and has been one of the best surf brands in the last 10-20 years. So imagine from having one of the best in the world supporting you to not having support at all. So I fell in this really afraid place where I was like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do now? Really? I sat down and I thought I can either ask for another sponsor, which I know is going to be really hard at that moment because if the whole economy is collapsing, all the other brands are also collapsing. So I was like, maybe there's an opportunity here. Like the Chinese says, every time there's a crisis, there's an opportunity as well. So I saw the opportunity to start shaping boards and I took it. I never even hesitate. On these parties that you go when you're young and all your friends are around, you start talking some stupid stuff. And I start telling my friends, oh, I would like to become a shaper. I would like to shape my own boards because I don't have a sponsor anymore, but I don't even know how to shape. And they're all like, hey, but I know a shaper. And I was like, yeah, whatever. Where? Do you know a shaper, really? He's, yeah, I know a shaper from Hawaii. And I was like, that sounds rad. And then he's, oh, let me get back to you in a few days. Those things never get concrete, solid. You're just talking randomly on a party that you want to become a shaper. Whatever. The next day, my friend calls me and he's, so, do you really want to become a shaper? Because I already talked to this guy in Hawaii and he wants to come. I was like, wow, my whole world lit up. I was so excited. All of a sudden, I have this burst of energy inside of me. And I was like, yes. And he's, have you thought where are we gonna build these boards? And I was like, yeah, in my house, without even asking my dad. So he's like, all right, talk to your dad. I'll talk to my shaper and we'll see what happens. So long story short, my dad started talking to my friend who is Felipe Herrera, aka La Foca. And my dad is, call Foca. And I was like, hey, Foca, my dad wants to talk to you about the shaping room. He's, oh, this thing is for real. I'm like, yeah, he's going to build the shaping room, but he wants to talk to you first. So they talked, and my dad agreed to build a shaping room up to world-class standards. 1 month later, we had the shaping room built in the back of the house. Like, I have a big property back home where I can just decide what to do, and then we can just go on and build because it's really affordable. And so we just built 2 rooms, one for shaping and one for glassing. And that's how it all started, with my friend Foca that brought this Hawaiian shaper. Who was the Hawaiian shaper? It was no other than Glenn Minami from the Blue Hawaii, from the famous brand in Hawaii. He also shapes for other famous brands. Back in the day, he shaped for the world titles. So this was a well-known shaper. It is a well-known shaper. Hey, Glenn, what's happening? I don't think he's gonna watch this, but still, it was an honor to do my first boards with him and to be taught and introduced into this beautiful profession that is shaping from him, from his hand. I remember Glenn telling me, so when are you gonna do your first board? And I was so afraid of getting a blank and wrecking it, pretty much ruining it, because I felt I was gonna ruin the whole blank. I didn't know it was that good until I traveled around the world. Now I know my shape room that my dad did, it's world class. So he says to me, I learned to shape under a mango tree. You have a mango tree right there, but you have a shaping room. Just get the blank and shape it, Miguel. And I was like, okay, here I go. With a lot of fear from making a mess, I did my first board ever, and all my friends loved it. And yeah, it's all a big downhill and uphill from there. It's a roller coaster from there. But it was really beautiful because I remember exactly the next parties from that one. Telling Foca and telling my friends, being so thankful for him, that I realized and I discovered my journey and my true path. It is to be a shaper. I didn't know I was gonna feel so good after shaping my first board, and then now I know my true destiny and journey was to make boards. Not to be a professional surfer, but a professional shaper. And yeah, that felt really good within myself. So I kept this journey, even though it's been tough times in my finances, for keep pursuing my dream, which is to make perfect boards, to make boards that are in tune with myself, with my level of surfing, and then my crafting skills were every time better and better. And now I am in a position where I know how good my craft and my skill is. I know it's worth it. I know all this was worth it. Having gone through all these lows and highs, I wouldn't have changed a thing. So I'm true to my path. I will keep shaping till I die.